Batman Resident Evil thing.
All right.
Pretty cool shit.
All right, it looks like we are now live. Welcome back to Movie Discussions, everybody.
Hey, yo.
I hope you enjoyed yesterday's stream if you caught it. I hope you have enjoyed the Resident Evil 2 replay. 320 views as of right now.
I finished it this morning.
Meanwhile, the RE1 replay is closing in on 8,000 views, so that's cool. But
yeah, that's pretty. That's kick-ass. Anyway.
But as you no doubt have heard, if you've been on social media for the last week, you noticed that we lost another legend. We lost a man who embodied an entire generation of tough guys alone. We lost the one and only Carlos Ray Norris, aka Chuck Norris.
Wait, his name was Carlos?
That was his full name.
Well, I'm a retard.
I mean, you said it, not me.
Well.
But, yeah, we lost Chuck Norris last week, and so, as a tribute to him, I thought it would be nice to take a walk down one of his 80s classics from his time in the Cannon Group, one of his many collaborations with the Cannon films, and my personal favorite Chuck Norris film of all time, with Invasion USA coming in a very close second, The Delta Force. Had you...
Hey,
did you tell me that you had seen this prior to rewatching it for today's stream?
Yeah, I watched it with my dad sometime in the early 2010s.
Yeah, I think that was about when I discovered it. It was about 2014-ish was when I first saw it. So, this movie is...
it was around... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to get into the movie, but if you want, you have more to add.
Well, it was around the early 2010s we watched that movie, and it was around, I want to say around my junior or senior year, when I would watch reruns of Texas Ranger with my grandpa. And around that same time, I watched reruns of Murder, She Wrote and Perry Mason with my grandma. Which, by the way, Murder, She Wrote is getting a movie starring Jamie Lee Curtis.
I saw that. That's supposed to be out around Christmas time of next year.
Interesting. But, that's off topic. Basically, the early to mid 2010s was when I really started getting into the Chuck Norris stuff.
Yeah, I started watching Chuck Norris about the end of my high school years, so about 2010, 2011. That's when I first saw The Hitman, where he plays an undercover cop posing as a mob lieutenant.
Yeah.
Hellbound, which is where he goes to the Vatican and has a fist fight with Satan.
Wait, are we talking about Chuck Norris?
Yes. I'm not joking. Chuck Norris did a movie called Hellbound where he plays a Chicago cop that travels to Rome, and in the catacombs below the Vatican, he gets into a fist fight with a man who is possessed by Satan.
Let me guess, he wins.
Of course. Because it's
it's fucking Chuck Norris. Of course he wins.
Because this is Chuck Norris. This is the guy the boogeyman checks under his bed for when he goes to sleep at night.
Chuck Norris, the devil. devil didn't come for Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris came for the devil.
Yeah, as it turns out, Chuck Norris is not dead. He's just been called to heaven for his new mission, which is to train the angels in the art of roundhouse kicks.
Dude, whatever you do not look up biblically accurate angels.
I've seen it.
Yeah, you know how the creatures in Bird Box made the person who saw them want to kill themselves.
I mean, that explains the episode of Masters of Horror that John Carpenter directed, where Norman Reedus is tasked with hunting down a lost film that featured the actual brutal slaying of angels, and it's a cursed film in that anybody who watches it goes insane and kills themselves.
Well, I saw the picture of the biblically accurate angels. Calmly walked over to my bedroom wall, whacked my head against it, and then sat back down.
I mean, you look at those, and Sephiroth's final boss design in FF7 makes a lot more sense.
That's where I saw it from.
But, getting back to Delta Force. Sorry, guys,
yep.
I'm still kind of dealing with the effects of seasonal allergies. So this movie is more or less inspired by the hijacking of TWA Flight 847 in 1985. where a group of Hezbollah hijackers took over a Trans World Airlines flight from Cairo and basically took everybody inside hostage. And this movie is more or less, hey, let's take this real world horrific scenario that happened, because this movie is about a group of Palestinian terrorists led by Robert Forster as Timu Saddam Hussein looking ass.
Wait a minute. Did you say Robert Forster?
Robert Forster is Abdul, the leader of the hijackers in this film.
Dude, I was wondering why that motherfucker looked familiar, because Robert Forster, he played Tim Allen's, I'm pretty sure, let me confirm. Yeah, he played the father of Tim Allen's character in Last Man Standing.
That doesn't shock me.
Holy shit. That's why he looked familiar. You were saying?
His character... Oh, wow. I actually was not aware he was in Last Man Standing. But yeah. Palestinian...
He died, bud.
Palestinian...
He died.
Sorry.
I am so sorry. He died sometime in the last 7 years.
Yeah, that is... what was that?
October 11,
2019.
Yeah, and it was also one of those instances where instead of recasting the character, they killed the character off.
Well,
I feel like that's more respectful anyway. As long as they don't do it like they did for Roseanne Barr and Connors when they said Roseanne died of an overdose.
Ugh. So basically, Robert Forster and another Palestinian terrorist hijacked this flight it's like a connecting flight from Cairo to New York City, but it's like connecting like Athens and Rome. So the terrorists take it over, jack the flight as it's leaving Athens, Greece, and landed in Beirut, and then so it's up to the Delta Force led by Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin to take the plane back and take out the terrorists and save the hostages. It's as simplistic a concept as you could possibly get, which is, I think, the best way to do an action movie is to just take a basic premise, strip it down to its most bare bones form, and just go from there.
Lee Marvin served in World War II.
Yes, he did. He was a Marine.
And hang on, let me take a look at their Wikipedia page. I just happen to know that at the top of my head. He died a lot sooner than I thought.
Yeah, he died well over a year after Delta Force released. So this movie actually marks his last film appearance.
He was in damn good shape in his 60s.
He was also dealing with several health issues because of at the time of filming, because he was a heavy smoker and drinker, which of course he was. He was a World War II scout sniper. Spent most of his service in the Pacific Theater.
Yeah, it says he had a condition called however the fuck that's pronounced.
Hold up, I'm gonna highlight the word, and I'm gonna let if I can.
It starts with COCCIDIO.
Coccidioidomycosis. He went into
whatever that. Sorry, guys. But
One more time.
Hold up, I gotta go back to the page to get it. Because that's a word where it's like, is that even a word, or did you just throw some or are you just Dr. Seuss throwing shit together?
Is that the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious of Cox?
Right?
coccidioidomycosis.
What is colored cockmycosis? Actually, no.
Says it's a fungal disease.
We'll just say he had a fungal disease. Anyway.
Yeah. But, and fun fact, this was originally supposed to be a Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin's character was originally supposed to be played by Charles Bronson, since Bronson was one of Cannon Films' big stars at the time of filming. I mean, Death Wish 2 and 3 alone.
If John Wick was made in the 70s or 80s, I think Charles Bronson would have played John Wick.
Oh, 100%. And he would have crushed it. He
died in 2003.
Yeah, he would have crushed it as John Wick, too. It would be the action would be completely different from what we have now, but it is an interesting thing to think about.
I wish he would have lived long enough to see. I wish he would have lived long to see the Bruce Willis Death Wish.
I don't think he would have made it that far, because he was already. Let me put it this way: he was 52 years old when the original Death Wish was released in 1974.
Yeah.
So he was well into his 80s by the time he finally passed. But so yeah, this movie was originally supposed to be Chuck Norris and Charles Bronson, and it was going to be directed by a guy named Joseph Zito. If that name is at all familiar, if you're a fan of Cannon Films movies, it's because Joseph Zito directed Missing in Action for Cannon Films, another Chuck Norris movie. He directed Invasion USA, another Chuck Norris movie. And for you, Kaysen, he also directed Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter. But
sorry, my brain shitted so while I was listening. Who are you talking about again?
I was talking about the guy who was originally going to be the director on this movie, Joseph Zito.
Oh yeah, He did direct Friday the 13th.
Yeah, but instead, Bronson was committed to doing a TV movie, and which is why he was replaced by Lee Marvin, who was dealing with his own set of health issues around the time of filming, which I think had to do with some intestinal issues, which you can see because he generally does not look like he's. He looks like he's holding in a lot of pain in certain scenes.
I mean, yeah, he had that fungal disease.
Yeah, and so directorial duties were assumed instead by Menahem Golan, one half of Golan Globus, aka Canon Films, aka the Canon Group. So, and
He was born in Palestine. He passed away in Israel.
Yep, he was a very and Golan Globus. If you've never seen any of Golan Globus's movies, like they're action movies from the '80s, like holy shit, you're missing out because they are as cheesy as they are. They are among some of the finest examples of '80s action you will ever see. Missing in Action, which was Chuck Norris rescuing POWs from Vietnam that had been left behind after the U.S. pulled out of the war. Death Wish 2, 3, and 4, where Death Wish 3 especially, where it basically turned Charles Bronson's character from a mild-mannered, bleeding heart liberal New York architect into urban Rambo. Which, Enter the Ninja and Revenge of the Ninja, which were two movies that popularized the whole ninja trend of the 80s. Like,
Oh yeah.
and Revenge of the Ninja especially is hilarious because there are some behind the scenes stories on that movie where apparently they were just making shit up as they went along. And when you watch the movie, it makes perfect sense that they were making shit up as they went along.
Checks out.
But like the Canon Group, and yeah, they had their own fair share of duds. Perhaps one of the biggest ones being when they did Masters of the Universe movie in '87, where it was Dolph Lundgren playing He-Man. But then they shot themselves in the dick by making half of it an actual He-Man movie and the other half of it a fish out of water, like, teen romance drama. It made no fucking sense, and it was one of those movies where the only the only scenes that I actually liked in that movie were the Skeletor scenes.
Talking about that earlier.
What?
I said we were talking about that earlier before. I think we were talking about that before the stream started.
Yeah, we were. That was kind of... And now I'm really tepid about watching the new one because I'm tired of nostalgia exploitation and Jared Leto as Skeletor. Fucking really? You know when?
Yeah, at least the Skeletor in the original movie was not fucking Jared Leto.
You know, when Blade Runner 2049 was releasing, I distinctly recall Razorfist making a post on Twitter where he said the only actor more overrated than Ryan Gosling is Jared Leto, and somehow you put them both in a movie together.
You'll have to repeat that.
Okay. When Blade Runner 2049 was coming out, I remember Razorfist made a post on Twitter that said something to the effect of, The only actor more overrated than Ryan Gosling is Jared Leto, and somehow you put them both in the same movie.
Well, this movie's gonna flop harder than.
I'm not making any.
Actually, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going straight for the jugular. This movie's gonna crash harder than Paul Walker.
I'm not making any predictions about the box office just yet. We'll just have to see. I know I have very tempered expectations for it. Besides, I'm not a Masters of the Universe guy. I'm more of a Thundercats guy.
Yeah, they need to get Adam Wingard.
Yeah, that Adam Wingard Thundercats movie needs to be made stat. But anyway.
Isn't it in production?
It's been in pre-production for a while. But going back to Delta Force. Go back to Delta Force. So you get Robert Forster and his Palestinian guys. It starts out with just it starts out with just two terrorists, Robert Forster and a guy who has a lot of issues. Like, no shit, he's a Palestinian terrorist, but it's clear he's not exactly all the way upstairs. They make it a point to have all the Jewish passengers forced into the first class front of the plane section of the plane because they're gonna take all the because these guys are Muslims and you know that age-old blood feud of Muslims versus Jews. As they're going through everybody's passports, they realize there's three guys on the plane who are U.S. Navy divers. So they take them they take them in the front with the Jewish passengers as well. Then unload in Beirut. It's like they unload all the women and children off the plane, but they take but they're still leaving with all the men and of course the Navy divers and the Jewish passengers. One of them actually isn't a Jewish passenger. He's a Catholic priest from Chicago, but he makes it a point as like, well, yeah, I'm Jewish just like Jesus Christ. I guess it's supposed to be like an act of defiance.
Sounds like it.
Sorry,
Am I coming in all choppy?
A little bit here and there. It's fine though.
Hang on, let me fix that.
I mean, no more than usual.
Okay, how about now?
All right. It also doesn't help that I sound like I've got shit in my throat.
Hey, allergy season. What are you gonna do?
Which it honestly isn't too far off. This is one of those movies where it starts big because it opens on a failed attempt. It opens in 1980 during Operation Eagle Claw, which was a failed attempt to rescue 53 embassy staff members that were held hostage by Iran in 1980. One of Jimmy, My Name Is Earl Carter's biggest cock-ups.
Well, that's new. Cock-up.
Yeah. When you said that's new, I thought you were going to say me calling Jimmy Carter, Jimmy, My Name Is Earl Carter.
I've just never heard cock-up before.
Which, fun fact, his name actually was Earl. His full name was James Earl Carter Jr.
Now I know what the show My Name is Earl is based on.
But during Operation Eagle Claw, we've got Lee Marvin and Chuck Norris, and they're pulling out. They're getting their guys out, and Chuck Norris is sick of military hierarchy, sick of the politicians that forced the botched operation. So he decides he's going to leave the military behind. Well, then 5 years later, here comes Robert Forster and his Palestinian brigade, forcing Chuck Norris back out of retirement to run with Lee Marvin and run with his old Delta Force. And this is a movie that it actually does, like, it starts explosive because it starts with a helicopter literally blowing up and Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin pulling their guys out. But then, like, the hijacking and the assembling the mission together before they get the hostages out, it actually takes like beyond the first 5 minutes of the movie, it takes over a full hour for any major action sequences to really hit in the movie. And this is a movie that goes for 2 hours and 9 minutes. The first after the opening scene, the first major action set piece we get doesn't come in until the 74-minute mark, and it's Chuck Norris and one of his guys doing a recon op in Beirut, and they end up in a car chase where you've got one guy driving the van, and you've got Chuck Norris hanging out the side of the van with an Uzi, spraying an Uzi at two trucks full of cranky jihadis.
See, that's what Tank Dempsey would call a spray and pray.
Yeah. And it's not even... And I'm pretty sure they weren't even chasing them because it's two American Delta Force operators. They were chasing after them because Robert Forster was jealous of the fact that Chuck Norris could win a staring contest with his eyes closed.
Oh. Yeah, just keep the jokes coming. I'm sure him and Bruce are laughing their asses off upstate.
Well, then again, maybe that's why it takes 74 minutes of this 129-minute movie for the action to kick up. Because Chuck Norris doesn't sleep; he waits.
He doesn't sleep. He what?
He waits.
Oh, he waits.
And then, the actual operation, the actual rescue mission doesn't kick in until, I think about 85 to 90 minutes in is when they really launch it. And that's, first it's, full stealth and black suits and face paint, and they blow a hole through the floor. They slip into the terrorist headquarters, blow a hole through the floor in the room where the hostages are, and just pop out with full machine gun fire. There's a bit where Chuck Norris just slides down a zip line while firing an Uzi at a trio of guys.
Right.
My favorite part of that scene was when he catches a guy hiding under a mattress with a machine gun, sprays half a bag of his Uzi into the guy's chest, and just goes, "Sleep tight, sucker." Because it's the 80s, you gotta have at least one-liner.
70s would have been "Smile, you son of a..."
Whew.
Oh, you son of a...
Yeah.
Which, speaking of which, the old guy who gets killed at the beginning of the Piranha remake, that's the guy who says, "Smile, you son of a..."
Oh, so somebody just hey, let's steal a line from Jaws. Okay, we'll steal the biggest line of the entire movie.
Actually, it's just the actor. They didn't. I'm not talking about the line. I'm just saying that the guy who said "Smile, you son of a" in Jaws is the old guy who gets knocked out of the boat and eaten at the beginning of the Piranha remake.
Oh, so apparently
I'm pretty sure that's the guy.
So apparently my sinuses aren't fucked up now. It's my brain's turn to shit itself.
Womp womp.
We're really condensing this down because that's kind of how the movie is. Like I said, the first full hour of the movie is the whole situation with the hostages, and then the second hour of the movie is the Delta Force assembling to take down Robert Forster and his terrorist group. By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but among those Lee Marvin and Chuck Norris's Delta Force operators were three, at the time, unknown actors who would later go on to have, who would later go on to really establish themselves. One of them, and I was looking throughout the background for most of the movie, and I couldn't spot them anywhere. One of them is the actor Kevin Dillon from the Blob remake.
Oh yeah, that's the guy on the motorcycle.
Yeah, he also.
I thought that's who that was.
He also played Johnny Chase on HBO's Entourage.
Yeah, I never watched that.
One of the Delta Force operators was McKelty Williamson, who played Bubba Blue in Forrest Gump.
That reminds me, I saw something a couple days ago. It was an old ass meme. I think it was on iFunny. It said, "My last relationship was like Forrest and Jenny. I was retarded and she was a whore." And it's like, that about sums up my life.
Elgin Tensity did a video roasting a guy's workout where he was going to do shoulder presses in slides on a wooden platform, and Elgin goes, "That feeling when you look like Bubba Blue but have an IQ like Forrest Gump, that almost cripples you like Lieutenant Dan, and your antics go viral. And your antics go viral like Jenny's immune system."
God damn. I'm gonna have to use that.
Oh, and the third up-and-coming actor that's supposedly among these Delta Force operators, but no matter how hard I was looking, I couldn't spot him, apparently was Liam Neeson.
Yep.
Liam Neeson is somewhere in this movie as one of the Delta Force operators in the background.
Yeah, he would have been like 36. He would have been like 35, 36 at the time.
Yeah. But that shouldn't surprise me, considering a lot of these... Like, the original Death Wish wasn't a Canon Films production, but that movie was, like, the earliest on-screen appearance of Jeff Goldblum. And then you get to Death Wish 2, which was a Canon Films production, and Lawrence Fishburne and Mario Van Peebles were in it as a couple of street thugs that Bronson kills, of course. Death Wish 3 had Alex Winter, the kid who played Bill on Bill and Ted. Death Wish 4 had an early appearance from Danny Trejo. He gets killed by Bronson, because of course he does.
You know, I think the earliest work I've seen that had Jeff Goldblum in it was The Fly.
So yeah, if you've got an eagle enough eye, you can spot Kevin Dillon, Liam Neeson, and Bubba Blue from Forrest Gump somewhere among Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin's Delta Force crew. But should we talk about the the big showdown between Chuck Norris and Robert Forster?
Yep.
Where let's set this whole scene up. So they do so Chuck Norris and Lee Marvin, they do their hit on Robert Forster's headquarters. They get most of the hostages out, but it turns out the Jewish hostages and the two naval divers who are still alive, because they had an opportunity to get them in Beirut, but they couldn't, and somebody cocked up the whole thing, which led to Robert Forster shooting one of the naval divers on the runway to provoke America. Well, he certainly did. Somebody forgot to tell him he was provoking Ronald Reagan and not Jimmy Carter. And Ronald Reagan had a secret weapon, and that weapon's name was Chuck fucking Norris.
Whoops.
So Chuck Norris, on a motorcycle with forward-mounted machine guns and rocket launchers like a James Bond vehicle, which apparently this was an actual. Apparently it wasn't used like by the actual Delta Force, but it was designed specifically for the movie. And I'm sure some Delta Force operator saw the movie and was like, "Dude, we should have something like that in our assembly." So Chuck Norris on this James Bond cycle hits this convoy where they're taking the Jewish hostages away. Robert Forster is the only guy in his crew left standing, so he tries to collect himself in a house just off the side of the road. Chuck Norris crashes in, beats the shit out of him, breaks his arm, roundhouse kicks him out the door, gets on his motorcycle, and Robert Forster tries to mount his AK on the window of his Mercedes so he can shoot at Chuck Norris. What does Chuck Norris do? Hits a button on his motorcycle that causes his motorcycle to fart out a 40mm grenade that blows the entire fucking Mercedes sky high. Because 1986. Why not?
Yeah, can y'all tell I'm struggling?
Oh, you're having a bad time?
Dude, I only slept like 5 hours last night.
Yeah, well,
I'm trying my best not to be dead on my feet while talking about this movie with you.
And I mean that's okay. Apparently 2 milligrams of melatonin is not enough to keep me asleep to keep my sleep sustained for more than 4 or 5 hours.
I tried to stay asleep, but it also doesn't help that the little shit sitting next to me couldn't decide if he wanted to lay at my feet or lay on my chest.
Oh, indecisive dogs.
Yeah, whenever my dad works night shifts, I sleep on the couch with the dog. Yeah, I'm talking about you. What are you going to do about it? Anyways, where were we?
We were talking about how Chuck Norris blew up Robert Forster by having his motorcycle fart out a grenade at his Mercedes.
Yeah, it blew it the fuck up.
Clean the fuck up. Then again, why wouldn't it? How you gonna have a broken arm and try to mount your AK rifle and shoot a man in the back This is the guy who counted to infinity twice. This man was once bit by a king cobra, and after 5 days of agonizing pain, the cobra died.
Hang on, I'm going to look some up so I can add to this conversation.
We're talking about a man whose face was declared too tough for Mount Rushmore.
Wasn't even alive when it was erected.
Right?
Yeah, I said erected.
Nah.
Chuck Norris doesn't flush the toilet. He scares the shit out of it.
Yes.
When Chuck Norris was... Okay, actually, you probably already heard this one, but when Chuck Norris was born, he drove his mom home from the hospital.
I actually have not heard that one, but I do believe it.
Chuck Norris uses rib condoms inside out so he gets the pleasure. Time waits for no man. Unless that man is Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris doesn't actually write books. The words assemble themselves out of fear. Chuck Norris can delete the recycling bin. He can also divide by 0. Chuck Norris knows Victoria's Secret. Okay, please stop me. Chuck Norris once destroyed the periodic table because he only recognizes the element of surprise. There is no chin behind his beard, only another fist. Chuck Norris can slam a revolving door. Okay, one more. Okay, no, that one's... Chuck Norris turned 18, his parents moved out. Alright, moving on, I'm done.
Would it surprise you at all if I told you that this movie was shot entirely in Israel?
Not at all.
Because it was the 80s. Every movie that was filmed in the Middle East was filmed in either Israel or Jordan. And if
I'd say it checks out.
And if it didn't take place in the Middle East, chances are it was being shot. If it took place in like a in like a Southeast Asian country, like if it took place in Vietnam, usually it was filmed in the Philippines.
I mean, that's one way to do it.
But yeah, the entire movie was so. You know what I love is looking at. I love looking at the at movie budgets to see what it costs to make them versus what it costs to make movies now. So the most recent movie that I've gone to see in a theater was Project Hail Mary, which apparently was a $200 million. That movie had a $200 million movie budget. Now, granted, that movie is like grand scale sci-fi, so it doesn't. So it's hardly applicable. But the last like mid-budget action movie I went to see in a theater was the Jason Statham movie Shelter, which cost about $50 million to produce. Earlier this year, like less than a month afterwards, I saw that movie Crime 101 with Chris Hemsworth and Mark Ruffalo. That was a $90 million movie. How much do you want to guess? I know what the budget for this movie is for the Delta Force, and I want to give you a chance to guess what the budget is. Don't look at the Wikipedia, just throw out a number.
10 million?
10 million? Close. It's actually 9 million.
God damn it.
Hey, you were close.
That always happens, you know.
But hey, Hey, by the way, that's how much money was spent making Commando was $10 million.
We weren't talking about Commando.
Yeah, I mean it is an '80s action movie. It is that time frame. It's not a Canon Films production, but still. And you look at that and you start to realize, man, movie budgets have gotten so inflated. And I think there's money laundering to be had. I think that's why there's so much. I think that's why a lot of these movies have such inflated budgets. It's because of money laundering. That or the producers are counting how much money they waste on hookers and blow towards the actual production budget. What?
I said it was the 80s after all.
Well, I'm talking even now today. Like there's no reason the movie Red One should have cost $250 million as an action movie about rescuing Santa.
Can we not talk?
But apparently, about $50 million of that production budget was exclusively The Rock's salary, which I think is obscene. No actor should be paid more than $1 or $2 million for a starring role. But that's just me.
Yeah, this is one of those things where it's fucking struck.
Yeah, and you start to realize that, wow, movie producers genuinely don't know how to budget their shit. Because if this movie was made today, it would cost at least $100 million, and it would not have the camera stability that it does have. The action would not play out in a way that makes it easy to follow. We would still be doing that up close, shaky cam, fast cutting bullshit that's been plaguing Hollywood movies since the Bourne Supremacy pretty much normalized it.
Yeah, can we not talk about the Bourne right now? Dude, Matt Damon. I don't know about Matt Damon one of these days, bro.
Matt Damon. You gotta say it like the Team America version of him. Matt Damon.
Look, dude. The puppet vomiting. The vomiting, that's me watching The Bride.
I was so indifferent watching The Bride, dude.
Yeah, I finished it with... a mutual friend of ours sent me a link to how she watched it, and I decided to finish it. I decided to finish it. It's a good thing I walked out.
Yeah. You walked out 45 minutes in. I sat through the whole 126 minutes of it. I'm grateful for the fact that the movie I watched that I went to go see after I saw The Bride was Project Hail Mary.
I have not seen.
It's good. It takes a little while to get going, but it's really good.
I don't doubt it, but I haven't seen it yet. Oh, according to this, apparently Zack Snyder's Resident Evil is now in post-production.
Yeah, that was announced, I think, a week or two ago.
Oh, that's 6 hours ago.
I remember seeing a
Those-
post about it a week or two ago, so...
Well, either way, it's still set to be out September 18th.
We'll see. I just got a Blu-ray copy of Weapons, and I'm gonna try to watch that in Barbarian sometime within the next week. My expectations for it for Zach Krager's movie are 100% neutral, but at the same time, according to the movie's Wikipedia, it has an $80 million budget. For Resident Evil, I mean, I get that he's the type of director who puts a lot of stock in his practical effects, but still.
You already know my stance on it.
Yeah, I'm cautiously.
As long as it's horror and feels like Resident Evil, I'll take it.
Yeah, as long as it does. As long as it does like as long as it does that hybrid of like John Carpenter style slow burning dread mixed with like David Cronenberg body horror and Sam Raimi campiness, then it should be fine.
Well, there's going to be that one group of people who just bitch about it for no reason other than because
it doesn't adapt because it doesn't just adapt one of the games into movie form. Yeah,
dude, that's literally a trap.
It can be. Like, there's a very delicate balancing act to doing that, and it's always going to feel like a compressed version of the story that you already played.
And I'll die on this hill. Welcome to Raccoon City was a good movie. Fuck you very much.
It was definitely, for all of its flaws, it was a better Resident Evil movie.
And Paul Wishart Anderson used Resident Evil names like Cumsock for 6 increasingly worse movies.
Those weren't even they weren't Resident Evil movies because they didn't feel like Resident Evil movies because they were just action movies with a horror slant. And if I wanted an action movie with a horror slant, I would watch Blade and Underworld. But we're getting drastically off topic.
I mean, a tyrant slave. Anyway.
So that's Delta Force. I'm pretty sure Chuck Norris is somewhere in the afterlife. Can these two just focus a little bit, please?
I mean, just like the Bone, just like, what was that one we did where I was also struggling? Bone Tomahawk?
We were going to watch Bone Tomahawk, but for a bottom of the bin, but we haven't done that yet.
I'm trying to think of which one it was that we did. That was another action movie. I'm gonna go look at the playlist.
I don't remember. I just know that I've said what I've got to say about Delta Force. This is it's vintage 80s cheese. It's a Chuck Norris action movie. It's on Tubi. Fucking watch it.
Or if you feel dire, just fucking buy it on DVD.
Yes, absolutely. Get it on DVD.
Okay, so the stream is titled "A Fistful of What the Fuck."
Oh, that was when we did Bullets, Blood, and a Fistful of Cash. That was the movie we covered in that one.
Yeah, that's the one where I was again asleep on my feet trying to keep up. If Chuck Norris was behind me, he'd probably smack me in the back of the neck. But then again, if that happened, I'd probably fucking be paralyzed from the neck down.
If Chuck Norris was behind you, he'd roundhouse kick you in the back of the face.
How the fuck does that work?
I have no idea.
Or is that the joke?
It is the joke.
Damn it! Alright, I guess I'm gonna take the. I guess since we both have said what we need to say, I'm going to plug my channel now. The first 2 parts of Resident Evil Village are up, and part 3 goes up tomorrow night. And as soon as the next Gigabash DLC drops, I'm gonna be doing more. I know y'all have been. A few of you have been emailing me saying I should do more Gigabash content. And there's new Gigabash DLC dropping tonight, and I intend to catch up on freaking arcade mode with all the other characters. But I've just been. My brain's been fucking fried. Like, I need a diaper for my brain. Beef just looked at me like, uh-huh. Like, you gotta get your shit together, Dad. Hey, I feed you, I provide you a home. Don't test me. Remember my comment on the thing last night that actually got that exposed me because I actually had text-to-speech on. To those who need context, I said, "Dog, you're about to go to Electric Avenue, and I'll take you higher." I told my dad that this morning. He laughed his ass off. Basically, every person I've told about it turned into Steve Rogers. I understood that reference. But anyways, yeah, Delta Force. It's Chuck Norris. Watch it.
Damn right. And after you watch it, watch the rest of Tubi's Chuck Norris library.
You're gonna lose at least 2 or 3 days, but it's worth it.
And 110% worth it. And if you got Peacock, watch Walker, Texas Ranger.
The good one, not the Jared Padalecki. Jared Padalecki. However the fuck it's pronounced. Anyway.
Yeah, the real version, the Chuck Norris version.
Not the woke CW version.
Yeah. If you're gonna
even though Chris doesn't like it.
Yeah, if you're gonna watch a Walker Texas Ranger, you better watch the one starring the guy who, when he enters a room, he doesn't turn the lights on; he turns the dark off.
You're gonna kill me. Stop.
Yeah, you gotta watch the show starring the guy who can sneeze with his eyes open.
I try to sneeze with my eyes open. It's literally painful.
Hey, Jesus can walk on water, but Chuck Norris can swim through land.
He walks through fire, and even Satan's like, "What the fuck, homie?"
There is no theory of evolution, just a list of creatures Chuck Norris has allowed to live.
Well, I guess I should consider myself lucky then. What the fuck are you doing? Sorry about that.
Hey, Chuck Norris once ate an entire bottle of sleeping pills. They made him blink.
I swear, whenever I yell at my dog on stream, I just turn to Heisenberg. I turn to Heisenberg in Resident Evil 8, where he just goes, "Sorry about that." Like, you shut your fucking hole. Sorry about that.
Hey, Chuck Norris has a grizzly bear carpet in his bedroom. It's not dead, it's just afraid to move.
Okay, dude, imagine this. Chuck Norris in the Resident Evil 8 village.
Oh, dude. There would be a crater there would be a crater where the village once stood with a note attached that reads, "Too slow, Redfield."
He would kill Mother Miranda just by staring into her soul.
Yes.
My daughter, my Eva. Like, shut the fuck up, bitch.
And then he glares at Chris, and Chris's cigarette just lights itself.
Basically, okay. Now imagine what would happen if he ran into Ethan. Ethan survived. Ethan survives because Chuck scares the mold out of him.
Pretty much, yeah.
Like, like, you're human now. It's like, no, he's not. That's like, what the fuck ever.
Hey, Chuck Norris doesn't read books. He stares them down until he gets the information he wants.
I just imagine a book sweating.
Yeah. Chuck Norris can kill 2 stones with 1 bird.
By just beating them with the same bird.
When Chuck Norris cuts onions, the onions cry.
I told you there were sentient beings. You didn't believe me, but I'm right.
Chuck Norris doesn't wear a watch. He decides what time it is.
Well, in that case, Chuck, if you're listening, I need you to make it 11 p.m. so I can download Crash DLC.
Alright, I haven't figured out what my next playthrough is going to be yet, since I'm recovering from the RE2 replay.
You know what we should do? For at least one of the parts of Resident Evil 7, we should do some commentary.
You know, I was trying to decide if I wanted to play another Resident Evil, or if I wanted to play a Mario game, since we have the movie coming out next week.
Well, I was thinking if you did Resident Evil 7 or Resident Evil 8 for at least the first 20 minutes, you should like start up OBS and we talk for like 20 minutes of it, and then the rest it's just stunned silence.
If there's a gag in there, I don't get it.
I mean, the joke is you don't normally
Don't normally what?
do commentary.
Right.
But I was just thinking that since we're in the months approaching the Resident Evil reboot, have your partner from Weaponized Autism show up for a little bit of commentary. Like, we talk for the first 20 minutes of the playthrough, and then the rest of it, it's your normal no commentary playthrough. But that's up to you. It was just a random idea I had. It's probably not going to work.
Yeah. And I was having an internal debate over if I was going to do another Resident Evil. If I was going to do the RE2 remake as a oneer, and then do
Mario.
And then redo the RE4 remake as a oneer, and then...
Wait a minute. Oh yeah, that's right. Your blind playthrough was 3 parts.
And then I just got my taxes back, and I just got my taxes, and I am waiting on my next paycheck before I go and buy myself a desktop PC. So instead of this laptop that I've been working with for the last 5 years, and then get that desktop, Resident Evil Requiem. You know?
Fuck yeah.
It would be the Steam. It would be the Steam version, but still.
Just throwing this out. Actually, never mind. If it's an old ass laptop. I was gonna make a joke saying if you don't want it anymore, can you send it my way? But then I was like, laptop. I'll wait to buy one. The joke is I'm a bum, okay?
Right. So
it's like you might as well hold on to it in case you need a backup.
So that's pretty much where I'm at right now. But with all that,
are you just gonna get the PC version of Requiem?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I'm gonna play the Steam version.
Apparently, if you pre-order it on Epic Games, apparently you get a Fortnite skin. It's like, what the fuck?
Well, I don't give a fuck about Fortnite anyway, so...
allegedly, it's shutting down.
Well, it is losing money, and Hey, Tim Sweeney, this might be a hot take, but maybe, blowing all that money that you make in Fortnite revenue on frivolous lawsuits against Apple and Google and Valve that have no merit whatsoever, and running a dog shit game launcher that nobody likes and nobody uses except for Fortnite. Maybe that's one of the reasons why your company is hemorrhaging, is going through money like a hemophiliac through a box of Band-Aids. You fucking hack.
Ooh. God damn, son. Chris don't fuck around.
And then you have the unmitigated, with how many options there are on PC gaming, you have the unmitigated stones to call Steam a monopoly. It's like, why don't you monopolize these nuts?
Monopolize this scrotum.
Sincerely, Tim Sweeney, on behalf of myself and everybody in the PC gaming space, actually go fuck yourself.
Fuck Fortnite. Anyway.
So that's what...
They didn't even have the decency to have an RPD Leon skin. Fuck you.
So, that's what I've got for today.
Jesus Christ.
Delta Force. It's Canon Films, it's Chuck Norris, it's the 1980s, and you owe it to yourself to watch it.
So, it's on Tubi. Go fucking watch it right now.
Yeah, that and a metric shit ton of other Chuck Norris movies.
If you have... I'm sorry, what?
I was about to say that by the time you're finished marathoning these movies, the hair on your nuts will grow hair on its nuts.
So if puberty screwed you over, you're in luck. Anyway. And if you have Peacock, and if you also have Peacock...
Walker, Texas Ranger.
The actual Texas Ranger. Ah, god damn it, Beef.
Yeah, the good one.
If you want affection, you don't have to be so violent about asking for it. Anyway.
So, that's what we've got for tonight. Hope you enjoyed listening.
We're next week.
Yeah, we will be back next week for more Weaponized Autism. Be sure to
now, whether or not it's going to...
What?
I was just going to say, whether or not it's going to be a Friday or a Thursday stream, I'm going to let Chris handle that scheduling thing.
Yeah. But, take care of yourselves, be sure to drink lots of water, and we will catch you all later.